Auzubillahi minash shaitani rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. It's a pleasure to be here again to have a chat with you. And today we're going to be talking about securities, collateral, right? And I think it's a good idea for you to be able to know what the features of good securities are, a good collateral. So by the time you approach a lender, you will be an informed borrower. And you know, once you're informed, there's only so much wool that can be pulled over your eyes. So it's best to arm yourself with knowledge and go as an informed borrower. So what is a security? What is the collateral? A collateral acts as a surety in case of a default on your own part. Or if you are the lender, you take a security, you take collateral. In case the borrower does not pay, you will be able to fall back on the security. And truly, most lenders do not just lend based on security. There are other things that they look at, but the security gives them the added comfort that in case, through no fault of yours, there could be some environmental factors that have gone wrong and you will not be able to pay your facility, then they can fall back on the security and realize the security. So what are those features that a security must have? For a security to qualify as being a good security, it has, number one, you have to have clear title. I mean, when we say clear title, the ownership of the asset has to be clear and distinct. That is not to say that lenders will not take an asset that belongs to a third party. However, the third party has to be brought into the transaction, so there will be a tripartite agreement between the owner of the asset, the borrower, and the lender. So all parties are involved. So the asset has to have clear title. It has to be easy to value, right? We have to know the value. And of course, the value of the asset being pledged has to be in excess of the amount that is being sought for. Another good feature is that the asset has to be marketable. There is no point taking an asset, no matter the value, if you can't sell it. If you can't dispose of an asset, then it is absolutely of no value to you. The asset has to have an appreciating value, or at the minimum, the value has to be stable. There is no point taking an asset that depreciates. If your asset depreciates and it is not being replenished, then after a while, it will fully be depreciated and you don't have any property or any asset of value. And that is why most lenders will take, you know, securities as in shares now, equities, because it is easy to value, especially those that are traded on the stock exchange. Every day you see the value of the shares, so just multiply the quantity by the value that is stated on the that is being traded. You have your value there. Of course, it is easy to trade, right? It is very marketable. However, word of caution here, on the stock market too, there are some shares that you can buy so that you can use them for security. However, there are some shares that are not tradable. I will not mention companies. I don't want to be sued. I will not mention companies. But there are some companies that if you buy their shares, people are actually willing to give you the shares for free. It is as good as you having paper. So be careful as to the kind of shares you have, because some organizations will not take some shares. It is of no significance. And my personal advice is not to pledge your personal homes as security. You may be forced to, but it should be your last resort, because that is your shelter, that is your refuge. And, you know, God forbid, if anything happens and the lender has to realize the security, I mean, that is just my own personal preference, not to pledge your personal home if you don't have an alternative. And until we see the next time, Subhana Rabbika Rabbil Sati Amma Yasifun. Wassalamu alaikum. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Masalam.